Guys, go ahead.
I'm curious, just kind of your big takeaways from this road trip. It seemed like you guys had some adversity at times, fought through it. There were some times that didn't go your way. What were your big takeaways from this trip?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is understanding against, especially the better teams, but on the road, we have to lock in mentally and physically for a little closer to 48 minutes than at home. At home, you have your fans behind you. Our crowds have been fantastic, and the energy that they bring to the table helps you get over the hump, especially in difficult times. On the road, you got to generate that energy on your own. And it's harder if you don't lock in for as close to 48 minutes, because now next thing you know, you're down 7. And now you're fighting to get back in the game. And the crowd is cheering for everything that the other team is doing, so they're boosting their morale and energy and all that other stuff. So, again, just trying to figure out, okay, hey, we could play with anybody, whether it's at home or on the road. Now, how do we sustain that level of play to beat the better teams on the road? We're 7-1, I think, versus teams that are 500 or below or something like that, and then 3-7 against teams that are above 500. And so now we have to sustain our stuff for longer periods of time, and that's going to take some time to continue to figure out.
Coach, the Kings were up 84-78 in that third quarter. Then, the Celtics went on some wild run, 36-4, something like that, which has never happened this season. And I guess you just alluded to it. What do you tell your team to learn from things like that really doesn't happen to them on occasion?
No, again, almost everything we're going through, we're learning and we're growing, because if you think about our roster, we have 2 guys on our roster in Deladova and Harrison Barnes that have won at a high level and has sustained it at a high level. Everybody else, this is all new to. So now you factor that into going on the road in Atlanta, who was in 3rd place in the Western Conference, or 4th place, and then going on the road into Boston, who's a championship caliber team and the best team in the NBA right now, and you get hit in the mouth after fighting your behind off to get back in the game. So you can't fight to get back in the game and be like, oh, okay, because as soon as you go, okay, they going on a 10-0 run, So you got to sustain it. You got to keep putting your foot on the gas, and not let up against those types of teams, especially on the road. And that's what we talked about today. We watched some clips talking about that, and then we talked about it, obviously, by putting some stats up on the board and having a discussion with the group. And it's just a matter of our guys going through that experience on multiple occasions and figuring it out as we go through it. And once we do, hopefully we'll be able to sustain it from there.
Coach, you talked about establishing a defensive identity. Where do you focus that effort? Where does the focus begin to be able to establish it?
Well, first one is transition defense. I thought at the beginning of the year our transition defense was really, really bad. We've gotten better in that area. Also, we were fouling a lot. We're not great at it, but we've gotten better in that area. Another area was offensive rebounding. We've given up a lot of long rebounds and 50-50 balls. We've gotten a little bit better in that. So now once we have those things down, or at least we're pretty good in those areas, we can start talking about our execution on the defensive end of the floor, and given the multiple efforts that we need to give. And if we do those things, which we're starting to do over time, our defense will even out a little bit. I don't know if we'll be great, but we will for sure be better than what we are right now.
Looking at Keegan, he's obviously been struggling a bit, and it feels like he's had so many shots that just have rattled out at times. I'm just curious, what your message has been to him to kind of fight through this. I'm guessing he probably hasn't had a shooting stretch like this really in a long time for himself, like ever, I'm guessing.
Yeah, and what everybody has to remember is that Keegan's a rookie, and he's going to go through his ups and his downs, because he's probably played more games now at this point in the year than he did his whole last year in college, and we're only a fourth of the way through the season. So to get used to the number of practices, the number of games, life off the floor as a rookie in itself is an experience. And I say he's a rookie because if you think about the situation that he's in, he's starting for a team right now that's in the playoffs, and we're trying to get there like every other team is. but the teams that are around him where other guys got drafted, talking about Oklahoma City, Houston, Orlando. Right now, those guys aren't. Will they be at the end of the year? Maybe, but they're not playoff teams right now, and so their rookies are able to play through the mistakes because, they want them to grow that way. They want them to try to grow that way in terms of making that team a playoff team with those guys growing through their mistakes. We have guys that are capable of helping us get there, including Keegan, and so he's not going to have the leash that those guys have on those types of teams. Now, even if you look at guys close to him behind him, same with Ivy. Ivy's the same thing. They're going to let him go through his mistakes. But then Matherin and those other guys that are fairly close, a lot of those guys aren't starting. They're coming off the bench, so the pressure is not quite there. So Keegan's situation is unique as a rookie compared to everybody else probably in the top 10, top 15 this past year's draft. And I'm going to coach him like he's a vet. If he ain't playing well, he's coming out the game because we have other guys that can step up and possibly help us win because we are a playoff team. We're there now, and we want to stay there, And so that's what everybody has to understand first and foremost. And then for Keegan, he's just got to accept the fact that he's going to have some of these and as best he can, ignore the noise, even when the noise is, Keegan, you're the greatest, because sometimes that can impact you, but especially the negative noise, and just go have fun and let it rip however it rips.
I guess
Right,
when
couple
we
more guys.
look at his situation and you bring that up because you done been to draft workouts, summer league games. He's been playing a lot of balls right up to time. Do you obviously you looked at that situation of what he's been through, the past 6 months. Is that correct?
Yeah, no, it's I say, he's played a lot of basketball, and he's probably played more basketball than he did all of last year, and so he's going to play good, he's going to play bad, and we just have to keep encouraging him. He's got to keep working, and I'm gonna keep coaching him. I ain't gonna let up on him because he can handle it.
Coach Brown, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. And his shot selection he's been getting some good open shots. He's not been off target. He hasn't been taking bad shots. A lot of these shots look like they're going down and they pop right back out. I know you see that too. Do you tell him, hey, don't worry about it, just keep firing away?
Everybody tells him keep firing away. The only thing I may say about his shot selection, the way he's shooting the ball, is if you drive to the basket, dunk on somebody. Do not give cats respect that they don't deserve in this league. You're too long and too athletic to try to move the ball and double clutch and all that other crap. Go dunk on somebody. That's it.
Last one, guys.
You've been
We'll do two more, guys. Got to
been
wrap
all
up.
the way to the finals in your career multiple times. With this semi-tough stretch, what's the message you're giving the guys to stick with it and it's a marathon?
No, I talk about that all the time. It is a marathon. We may end up losing 2 in a row. We may lose 5 in a row. We may turn around and win 6 or 7 in a row like we just did. Who knows how the ebbs and flow of the season will go. The one thing that we all have to understand is it is a marathon. And if we all understand that we're going to be good against the better teams, we have to find a way to sustain our focus and our effort level, so the mental and the physical aspect of the game. And if we do, we'll give ourselves a chance to win because we're pretty talented and our guys have worked extremely hard.
All right,
My
last one.
sports department wants to know.
What's that?
My sports department wants to know. You guys are two.
Your sports who?
My sports department. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry. So it's,
No, you
anyways,
good. You speaking like me. Go ahead.
don't want to mess this up. So you guys are 2-3 in divisional games. What's it take to get those divisional wins?
I don't. I guess I haven't looked at it like that. We're just looking at the next game in front of us. How do we get that win? And if we do, even if we go, 0-15, and if we go 0-20 in the division and 60 and and 0 in the rest of the games, and I'm good with it. So again, it's just about going out, having the right mental focus going in the game, being physical without fouling on the defensive side of the floor, and getting a win no matter who's in front of us. And again, the one thing that you want to try to do is protect your home court. But other than that, I'm not looking at it that close yet, just because we're so far away from the playoffs. And then lastly, we look at this thing in 5-game, series. And I think we went 1-4 in the first 5. We were 5-0 in the second 5, and I can't remember what we went the third 5, and I think we're at 1 and 2 right now, maybe in this fourth 5. So we break it down that way more than looking at the division wins and losses and or the conference wins or losses. I think that'll come into play a little bit later.
Appreciate that.